fundraising notebook. A couple people were looking at it before, but these sections up here are the ones that we use, and I would suggest that you also use. Team summary page. That is, I believe it's required at a lot of tournaments to have just a summary of, we have just a little bit of information about our team, what can our robot do. We also have highlights from the season. So all of these words right here, you have the word, the section of our notebook that page is in, and then what the page number is. So it's nice for judges to be able to look at this and say, oh, the Patronum Bots want us to know that there's a letter from first on this page. So that's really nice if judges just want a quick look at your team. Other pages that we have are sponsorship and team bio. So that way if you're looking, you say, okay, these are the kids that are on this team, these are their sponsors. In this section, we also have a graph of how we spent our time throughout the whole season. The next section would be just outreach pages. So like a lot of teams will make engineering notebook pages, we also will make a page for every outreach event. So after this is over, probably tomorrow or the next day, one of us will write up everything that we did today, everything that we learned, who was here, numbers, things like that. So that way judges also have a look at what are some sort of outreach things we did based on. We use a software called Toggle, which basically every one of us has an account in Toggle. I believe it's connected with our Google account. And we can just go and say, today I was at the Build a Better Bot workshop for 9 hours, and you flag it under outreach, and that's how we get the nice little colors in the pie chart. Next section, engineering notes. Like he said, every single time we're together, doesn't matter if there's 2 of us, doesn't matter if there's just 1 of us working on programming, it goes in the notebook. And that's really important, not only for judges to see that you're very thorough with your documentation, but if something happens and you were all by yourself and you didn't document it and you don't know how to revert back to a previous version of whatever you were working on, that could be a problem because then that means a lot of rework for you. The next section is our programming. We have these little paths drawn up of every autonomous program that we have, where are they going to go, what are they going to do, and then we also have actual programs. One of the most important sections for us this year was our business plan. And we copied this off of the first website. They have a lot of examples in something called the First Fundraising Toolkit. And our business plan was modeled after 1596 Monkey Madness's business plan. It's a really awesome business plan, so I strongly recommend that if you're going to write a business plan, to look at theirs first. And alright, the most important thing in a notebook is that you have a lot of detail. People who were looking at this before were like, wow, there's so much information here, look at all these pictures, these drawings. That's really, really important. When judges are looking at your notebook, they want to see sketches, they want to see pictures, they want to see numbers, they want details. They don't just want to say, oh, we built this arm yesterday. They want to know, why did you build the arm? What is it going to be used for? If you made any custom parts, what are the measurements for that part? They want to know very specific details about why you built it and how you built it. It's also, like I said before, you need to be able to look back and rebuild it. Our goal for this season was that we could use our notebook to basically rebuild our whole robot, if we had to.
So we can give it to someone on the street and say, hey, build this robot, and they would potentially be able to build it.
It's important that you have 2 signatures. You need a reviewer and you need an author. At the bottom of our page, you can kind of see it. You have your name of the author, what day did you write the page. For us, it's always the day that the meeting was, and then a reviewer. It's important that you have those 2 signatures for judges so they can say, okay, this is the person who wrote the page, this is the person who looked over it. And another thing that First wants is for you to have your tasks and then for you to have your reflections. And we sort of modified that, so we have the goals and then key things that we learned. And not only is this nice for judges to look at and say, hey, this is what they said they were going to get done, and this is what they learned when they were doing it. It's nice for us at the end of the meeting to reflect and say, today I learned that you need to have this for the gyro program. Those are nice for us to look back and say, this is what we learned today. We recommend that everyone on the team is involved in the making of the notebook, because it's nice if a judge comes up to you and asks you a question about your notebook that you can answer it. So we all are involved in making the notebook, writing the notebook, but Lauren is just the one who puts the pictures and makes it look pretty. So make sure everyone is familiar with the process of making the notebook, writing the notebook. It also allows for there to be a lot more detail, because if I was working on a program, Lauren has no clue what I was doing because she was building if I put in the information in the notebook and I can give you specific details about what I was doing while programming, she wouldn't be able to express that way. So this is an example of what our pages look like if you didn't get a chance to look. Like I said, you always had the date and the time where you met, who was there. In this case, it was just me and Lauren. What were we doing and what did we learn? Fundraising. So like I said before, we have this business plan. And not only can we use this business plan to show the judges, hey, this is how we spend our money, we can also show it to sponsors. Sponsors like knowing that you're spending their money in a responsible way. If you go to a sponsor and said, well, last year we said we only needed $1,000, but we actually used $3,000, that's not going to be okay for them. If you're a returning team, it'll probably be easier for you to know how you spend your money, because you know, okay, last year we had to order 12 motors throughout the entire season. We knew that because we had documented it. So in here we have a line item. This is approximately how many of each motor we're going to buy. This is tournament expenses, and then our total budget for the entire season. When sponsors see that, they know, oh, okay, this is how much money we're going to give you towards that goal. We also have monthly updates of how we are spending our money. So in December, we say this is what we bought so far, and this is a graph of how we're doing to achieving our fundraising goal. Finding sponsors, I know this is kind of be a hard thing for a lot of people. What we've done is, it's important to keep your sponsors involved throughout the season, because then they're very likely to return and give you more money. So something that our team does is we write a newsletter after every tournament, and we'll send it out to our sponsors, family, friends, teachers, anyone who's interested in how we did, saying, hey, this is what our team did at this tournament, these are the awards we won, we had a really great time, thank you for supporting us. And we've had a lot of feedback from sponsors saying things like, wow, thank you so much, it's really great to see where our money's going, good luck, great job. And that's very encouraging to them to know, okay, this team is actually spending my money in a good way. In terms of approaching sponsors, a lot of times you need to figure out, okay, does this person know anything about FIRST? Because a lot of times when you're approaching a sponsor, they're not going to know. They're like, what is FIRST? Never heard of that. You build robots? Okay. So if you give them a little bit of information that FIRST is a nonprofit, FIRST reaches thousands and thousands of kids throughout the entire world, link them to their website, link them to your website. If you give them background, then they'll know a little bit more, and they'll be able to make a little bit more of an informed decision about giving you money. And then you're going to want to introduce yourself. And if you kind of expand a little bit of information about yourself, because that's really nice for sponsors to be able to know what has your team done already. And then you say, this is why we need money, and this is a couple of things that we're going to be spending.